Welcome to the continued podcast adventures of Superhero Speak.
But I think many of the people that love this character and that love superheroes in general have used these stories as inspiration to say, you know what? I'm going to do something good in the world. I'm going to make a difference like my hero when I was a kid.
That is my fondest memory of it, because when you're doing comic books, you want them to affect people.
Right.
You want people to care. You want to strike emotions. And I knew that Clone Saga was striking a lot of emotions.
Can you imagine Pulp Fiction starring Goofy and Mickey Mouse?
I can totally imagine that.
I'm sure somebody's written that one too.
Quarter pounder with cheese in France, Mickey? What? Royale with cheese, Mickey. Yeah. I can totally.
See?
I would watch the hell out of that movie.
Yes, I gladly sacrifice that my progeny to you, almighty Marvel beast.
But Neil Adams is somewhere going, it's my time.
How do you measure success?
Hey everyone, you are listening to Superhero Speak, and I'm your host Dave.
And John.
And JD. We're doing the dramatic pause thing tonight.
Oh, is that what's going on? Good, I wasn't sure. So right off the bat, I'm going to say that this episode's probably going out a little late, because I had technical difficulties. Before we get into all that, we got a lot to talk tonight. We got a lot to talk about this week, people. We've got lots of exciting Marvel news. We have so much social media interaction to talk about, and we have a special announcement about the website. So I wanted to the reason we're going out a day late, though, is I didn't have any internet yesterday, which sucked.
Yeah, geez, that must bring you right back to when I was middle-aged.
Brings you right back to the 90s. Oh, man.
We used to read these books on something called paper.
What? What is that? Paper.
Dead medium is what it is.
Yeah. Bite your tongue. Bite your tongue.
Oh,
Jeez.
see, but here's the thing I didn't tell you guys, too, is that we have the X1 platform. So, like, nothing works when the internet isn't working properly.
Oh.
So last night we ended up using my wife's phone as a hotspot to connect our TV through it, so we could finish watching the last couple episodes of the current season of The Ranch on Netflix.
The lengths a software engineer will go through to be able to get out to see his TV.
Yes.
I mean, normal people are like, well, that's it. Let's get out the board games. But us, no. We're like, okay, I can route through, I can route through TCP/IP through my wife's phone and then get out to a hotspot, right? And then hack the neighbor's system. It's like what we would do.
It's like the definition of first world problems.
Exactly.
I know, right?
So yes. So that was my evening yesterday.
Don't forget, we also want to talk. I really want to talk about the Elseworlds trilogy that's going on right now with the CW stuff.
I was going to say, John, so you've been watching, since I didn't get to watch any TV last night. I missed it, and I was out on Sunday, so I missed the Supergirl. But you've been watching it without spoiling it. How is it?
Okay, first off, the premise is pretty cool, and it seems to, and this isn't spoilers, but it seems to set stuff up for Infinite Crisis, the actual Infinite Crisis that they'll do on the CW.
Okay.
Because we're getting red skies and everything, and again, it's not a spoiler. The Monitor shows up, which paves the way for the Anti-Monitor.
Right.
What's really funny, I'm finding, is that on the Supergirl episode, the writing was really, really good and funny. And then on the last, the Green Arrow episode, it was not, it was back to very basic, like we wrote it last night and, just threw anything at the wall to stick it. That was it.
Wait, you're saying the Supergirl episode was written really well?
Yes.
That is an Elseworlds.
I know, right? No, it was, so far it's, so far I'm really happy with it.
So one thing I'm really curious about, and I don't know if they were introducing him now or later on, was John Cryer on as Lex Luthor?
No.
Oh, okay, so that's going to be later in the season?
Yeah, but they did have, what's her name? They had Lois Lane on.
Mm-hmm.
And the actress that played that also played one of the leads on Grimm. That's because I when I first saw her, like, hey, I know that person, and finally figured that out. But she did well, so we've got Lois Lane now, an official Lois Lane,
mm-hmm.
and it's and we've got an official Batwoman.
Cool.
The Smallville Easter egg was fantastic.
Oh, you saw that?
I saw that little part floating around on the internet, and it got me all googly-eyed, so I'm going to have to catch the whole thing at some point.
Yeah, and again, this isn't really a spoiler, but because it's all over the internet, that they had, when they picked up on Supergirl, they had her and Clark and Lois working on the actual farm from Smallville.
Oh, cool.
The actual farm that was the set for Smallville, and they played the theme song when they I mean, it almost felt like the opening. They are so close to making Smallville canon.
It was it was shot for shot in some cases. Like it even had the lens flare that Smallville would use all the time. Like right when they jump to that portal and it's somebody save me. I got like goosebumps. Like I'm amazed at how nostalgic I am for Smallville. It's crazy.
And me too. Like, I didn't really like Smallville all that much. I mean, I watched a lot of it, maybe, 60% of it. But when that came up, I'm like, oh man, this is so cool.
Absence makes the heart grow fond.
I guess. But, what it gives me hope for, I mean, I think what gets me excited is that we are so close to having Earth 110,
mm-hmm.
where we finally see what's his face in the Superman suit, another version of Superman.
Tom Welling,
yeah. Sorry, I got so many names. So yeah, but I mean, that would be nice,
Right.
And the rest of it, the introduction to Batwoman was spot on. She's she's badass, and they explained this. I won't say what the explanation was, but they explained why Batman wasn't around.
Okay. Yeah, I did read something about that where they basically are acknowledging Batman's existence now, and there's a reason he's not around. It's not that he doesn't exist, but he's just busy or something.
Yeah. Well, the explanation's interesting.
Okay.
They do. I mean, they leave it open for exactly why, but they give an explanation why he's not there, and it's fun to watch. It's fun to watch Barry and Oliver sit there and argue over whether Batman was real or not.
Cool.
And then the original Flash showing up was also incredibly cool.
Yes. Yeah. I can imagine.
And it is him. It's not another Jay Garrick. It is Barry Allen from the original show.
Oh. So that continuity from the show and everything?
Yes. Yeah. They cemented that.
So that would mean even Mark Hamill's Trickster.
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's several iterations of him, I guess.
Yeah, at this point.
One in Jay Garrick's and then one in Earth 90.
Wow. That's kind of cool. It would be nice if we could talk to the guy in the costume.
I tried. Don't think he's interested for some reason.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, overall, it's pretty good. Again, some of the dialogue in the show last night wasn't kind of took me out of it a bit. But if they finish strong, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
I mean, last year's with the wedding and the battle during the wedding, that's like the high bar so far for me, because I don't think it's going to be hard to beat that.
Well, we'll see. I'm gonna probably start watching it tonight when we're done recording. So, and how about you, JD? Besides torturing some wrestlers,
that was fun. Yeah, we're midway into the season now. Team's doing pretty good. Can't complain about that. Started a new novella the other day, so doing good.
I saw you finish something, right?
Yeah, I finished a novella. I'm going to give away 2 novellas for free at the beginning of the year. So I finished the first, and I just started the second. They're short, like 20,000 word novellas. I'm bringing in a new character. I'm starting a new series with a new character. So I figured, boost up the email list and stuff like that by giving away a couple free stories. So get people excited about the longer books that come out later in the year.
That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
20,000 words. That sounds like a lot.
No, it's not. It's like 100 pages.
Yeah, that sounds like a lot.
That's a short. That's not even a novel. It's called a novella.
Yeah. See, I have a hard time writing. That's why I have an announcement that I'd like to make. We have a new contributor who's helping us out right now on the website. His name. I'm gonna butcher this. So Jesse, I'm sorry.
Well, that's the rite of passage. So there you go.
It's Jesse Prezoweznik.
And next week we'll be announcing another new writer to replace the one we just insulted.
All names should be spelled phonetically when applying.
Okay. So it's okay. Hold on. Listen. Let me spell his name for you. It's PrezewozNrik.
That's easy.
Okay. I have to see it, but I could probably pronounce it.
I didn't say it was easy for me. I just said it was easy for him.
So there's he already has one review up on the website, which is the Grimm Fairy Tale Zenoscope's Grimm Fairy Tales Holiday Special. He highly recommends it as a Christmas gift for your horror fan in your life, and he's already submitted his next review, which is Livewire #1 from Valiant Comics. So that'll be up probably either the end of this week or the beginning of next week. So keep an eye out for that. And along those lines, so Jesse came, we just put a shout out on Twitter saying we're looking for help because we have a giant backlog of comics to review. And I want to start getting at least one a week out on the website, and I'm having a hard time finding time to do this. And JD's, he's got a full-time job. He wrestles, or he coaches wrestling. He's got a kid at home, and John is, John.
I'm trying to finish writing a book, and work has been working. They just made me like employee of the month at work, which probably tells you how much I've had to put into that lately. So,
you ever see that Dax Shepard movie, Employee of the Month?
No,
it's horrible. Don't.
Then why did you tell me?
It just popped in my head when you said that.
It's a cautionary tale.
Dane Cook, that's who was in it. It's Dane Cook and Dax Shepard and Jessica Simpson. God, it was a piece of crap.
Jessica Simpson, oh boy.
That just tells me you're drugging the water at work and tricking them.
Hey, I keep telling them that somebody made a mistake.
Results, man. You get results.
That's, whatever.
So anyway, as we easily digress around here. We just put a shout out on social media for anyone looking to help us out. And it's, I'm saying this, anyone else who wants to help out. Inbox us on either Facebook or Twitter, or email me at dave@superheroespeak.com. And we will, if you're interested in writing, and it's a total volunteer thing right now, and there's no obligation on either side. I'm not going to push anyone. If you're willing to do it, I'll send you a couple things. You get a chance to review it. You do, you don't. I'll just find someone else. It's no loss here.
And people who are good at pronouncing things too, because we could use help with that.
Well, just make sure you give me the phonetic pronunciation of your name. But yeah, if you're interested, again, just inbox me and I'll shoot you the details, because I think you could have fun. You get to read some comics and review them. And speaking of that, don't forget, you can follow us on Twitter at Superhero Speak. We're on Facebook.com/Superhero Speak. And of course, our website, superheroespeak.com. And of course, we're also available anywhere podcasts are, and that includes iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, and basically anywhere. Google Podcasts, that's the other one, the other big one. So, speaking of social media, wow, people had a lot to say this week, guys. The first thing is we kind of made fun of Nick Nolte. Well, I kind of made fun of Nick Nolte last week. You remember that?
They do.
Yeah.
And Ed Kamen on Twitter had said, "Not many good films, but North Dallas 40 is perhaps the best sport-themed movie ever made, and in The Thin Red Line, he was pretty amazing."
He's right on goal.
Yeah, all right, I'll give him that. And then the Nerd Society said Warrior, which I haven't seen, but I've heard from a lot of people it's really good.
Good. Yeah, it's really good. It's the best MMA movie, which is not saying much because I can't tell you another MMA movie, but it's a good movie.
And he's like an old fighter in that, right? Is that the premise? So.
Yeah.
All right. Fine. Maybe Nick Nolte isn't as bad as I thought. I just can't forgive him for the Hulk movie.
That wasn't his fault. You got to blame Ang Lee for that.
Yes. That was all Ang Lee. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Hulk Dogs.
This is true. That works.
15-year-old joke.
Yeah. And I'm laughing at it now. Go figure.
So the other thing was, we had talked about Flash and Superman are essentially losing momentum over Warner Brothers, right? Like that's the rumors of what people are saying behind the scenes.
That must be why they've got Superman on the CW, and now they've added Batman, because usually they keep those the big guns, out for the movies. They don't want to cross the two genres,
Right.
So now we're seeing it.
This is definitely a topic that a lot of people have opinions on.
Opinions, really?
So
on social media?
On social media. Imagine that. Bob Jr., one of our favorite contributors, said he's happy because neither of them really care about the roles. Henry Cavill should never have signed that mustache clause, and Ezra Miller is too busy milking goats. What?
What?
What the hell does that mean?
I don't know. He must have been in a movie where he milked goats or something.
Okay, internet.
I don't even
know.
I don't even know how to react to that one.
I have no reference for that. Normally, I've heard on the grapevine what that, I'd be able to connect that reference, but I can't.
Rob Foster said, "I wouldn't say the characters themselves have lost momentum. This particular incarnation of them certainly has."
Fair statement.
That is a very fair statement. The Viking Jedi said, "Unfortunately, DC is a great mess right now. Keep Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, Momoa as Aquaman, and then recast the rest. Wonder if they could get Grant Gustin to play the Flash. Bring back
that would be awesome. Sorry.
bring back Bale or sign Jensen Ackles?
Jensen
Ackles to be Batman, and John Hamm would be a great Superman, in my opinion.
Well, the only problem was that all the talk about his performance would regard as codpiece, probably. Okay, so the only thing I can find on Ezra Miller about goats is a GQ style article. It says Ezra Miller is the gender-bending, goat-delivering Hollywood star of the future. Now, they must be talking about Grammy. Was it? Is it Grammy, Oscar, or something? I think that's what they're talking about. Grammy, Oscar, something, Tony. And what is it? I can't ever remember it. I know what an EGOT is, but not a goat. You know what an EGOT is, right?
No.
Not a clue. I don't know what's going on.
Emmy, Grammy, Oscar. That's somebody. An EGOT is somebody who's won all four: the Emmy, the Grammy, the Oscar, and the Tony.
Oh, he hasn't won any of them.
So a goat is, let's see, Emmy, Grammy, Tony, Oscar. It's just another way of saying it, I guess. No, that doesn't make sense. There's no E. I have no idea what it means. I'll figure it out, damn it. I'll figure it out by the end of this. Go on. The next one.
So hold on, Dave. When you put out this week's social media stuff, please do one where we ask the question, like do a Photoshop of the Flash holding a goat and say, please explain.
Yes, there you go. I'm behind that 100%. Yep.
Well, actually, Mole XA, I can't. They have a weird font for their name. I can't read it. She asked, "What's wrong with Ezra Miller?"
Something with goats.
Apparently, something with goats. Oh my God! Ezra Miller is the goat whisperer. And then, okay, Bruce Wayne said, who's at Bruce Wayne 5150, that's okay. They kicked ass last night on the CW.
Yes.
Don't see that one.
Greatest of all time.
And then we have a nice conversation here between Tonic Mole and Brandon Valenza.
Valenza.
Yes.
Valenza.
So Tonic Mole starts off with, meh, I feel like they need as fresh of a start as possible. I worry whether Cavill is replaceable, but then again, it's not like it was working. And then Brandon said, I think losing Cavill now messes with the positive momentum of Aquaman. Everyone thinks Warner Brothers has their stuff together, but the moment his exit's official, then it's back to how dumb and lost DC is.
Who thinks Warner Brothers has their stuff together?
I don't know.
Very positive outlook.
So Tonic Mole replied, on one hand, I'd agree with Warner Brothers that Shazam, Wonder Woman 84, and the Joker are better way forward than Man of Steel 2, but then he announced Birds of Prey, and I'm like, what? Man of Steel 2 should have taken Bird of Prey's spot. It's just constant stupidity at that Warner Brothers film division.
No, it's not, because the Birds of Prey movie is acting as a Suicide Squad sequel. Right. And that movie actually, as terrible as it was, made money.
Meanwhile, Arrowverse and Titanverse are on point. I'm not a big Arrowverse fan, but I live for Titans. Also, Titans is a better example of how the DCEU should have been handled, in my opinion.
It just says should have handled, like doesn't say what it should have handled.
But
I know I fixed it up a little.
Have either of you seen the Titans thing yet?
No.
Okay, I guess that's something we'll have to look at. I mean, I'm curious. I've heard very little about it in the circles that I run in, which is interesting because normally I would hear more about it if it were really good. So I don't know what's going on with it. Maybe I'm just in the wrong circles or something. I don't know.
So I'm not gonna read all this. You can see it on our Twitter. It kind of divulges into is Titans good or not?
Devolves.
Sorry. Into is Titans good or not? Which basically ends up with Brandon saying he'll sign up after the season finale so he can binge it, and Tonic Mole says it is best described as Frank Miller's Titans, year one if such a thing existed.
Never has something made me not want to see a show more.
Okay.
All right. So moving on, we also talked about Netflix finally pulling the trigger and canceling Daredevil.
Sad.
And we had debated whether or not it would show up on the Disney or possibly Hulu. But so Timothy Jones replied, I was crushed to hear that Daredevil was canceled and that other shows as well. They are great. Heck, my daughter's a film major. We'll film the shows in my backyard. What?
That's that poor girl.
We'll film the shows in my backyard and put it on YouTube. The actors will have to work for free, though. Right?
I've worked on a lot of sets like that, actually.
And do you know who replied? Netflix.
That's pretty cool.
Yes, and they said, we love adding content, but when a TV show or more you love is leaving, as much as it hurts, it means our licensing agreement with the content provider has ended. For more info on how that works and how to suggest what you want to see next, visit, and then they give us a website.
Yeah. Well, in this case, it wasn't so much ended as it was taken out back and shot.
So, well, that's interesting. I mean, that comes off as
that it was Marvel's decision.
Exactly.
It wasn't what they're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. It's Marvel was like, nope, we're taking our ball and going home.
Yep. It's exactly what we've been talking about on this show. Although I do wonder if this is a bot that's trained to respond to anytime anyone says they want to do a show for Netflix.
No, if that were the case, it would say, please send us your script.
No, they would not say that. They'd be like, no, we don't want your script. We'll come by you.
No, they would say, here's the official submission process. Go follow it. That's what it did.
Yeah, go follow this. That's what it would say. It's interesting, man. Like it's pretty much verifies everything we've speculated about for several weeks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's fascinating. I mean, because and I agree with the possible bot aspect, but I mean that sounded fairly specific because they talked about licensing and their licensed characters.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we'll see. We have another news article kind of related to this, so we'll get to that in a minute. And then, of course, we talked about Blue Beetle being put in production for Warner Brothers as a possible movie, and Ryan RHYAN or at RyGY0.
That's RyGuy0.
RyGuy0, is that what that is?
I believe so.
Okay. He said, get the main heroes right before you start worrying about lower tier characters. It's too bad your own actors are quitting. And God's Will replied, 2 thumbs up. So, some mixed thoughts on Blue Beetle getting his own movie.
Hold on, that last guy is God's Will, but the actual screen name is at McAtheist.
Yes.
That's an interesting dude right there.
His handle is McAtheist, and he calls himself God's Will. Hey, he's conflicted.
He's an interesting character, man. I'd like to have a conversation with this man.
All right. Well.
But yeah. First guy, I don't know. I think I disagree because they've shown that they've not done a great job with the main heroes. Might as well try something else. I mean, let's not pretend Iron Man wasn't a huge deal when Marvel made that first movie.
Right. I mean, it isn't the argument been for a long time with DC anyway, it's like they keep going back to Batman
Mm-hmm.
when they have a whole stable of characters that they've never even touched. So why not start breaking them out and actually putting them in the limelight?
You're 100% right, but in this all, it's like the court case of nerds can't be happy, you know?
Yes. Oh my God. No, they can't. And then just one last little thing. Larry Potter, at Larry Potter 55 on Twitter, shared a piece of fan art with us. He calls it Blood Moon, and it looks like it's a photo background of red clouds and like the moon in the background, and it's a drawing of the Green Goblin on top of it. Looks pretty cool. So
it is pretty cool. It's got that very crisis-y sky going.
Yes.
With the Green Goblin.
Nice.
So
it is cool.
We'll include that in the description of the podcast, as we always do on the website.
Thanks, Larry.
Oh, and our other friend Douglas Atherton at Walking Dead Art 1, he had done a fan photo before with a piece of fan art when Stan had passed away, and he did another one that he shared with us, and it's Cap, and it's got Iron Man reflected on Cap's shield, his mask. It's kind of cool too. So they'll both, you'll see those both in the show notes. So check those out on the website, and make sure you follow those guys on Twitter. And thanks for sharing your art with us. So, all right, on to some cookie cutter news. Oh, sorry.
Don't give away our secrets.
Let's start with the article that you sent me before we started recording there, JD.
My name is JD.
Yes.
He was just trying to figure out how he could mispronounce it.
So it is official.
Sorry.
It is official. We are getting a Doctor Strange 2, or a Doctor Strange sequel, and
Stranger Tides.
Doctor Stranger.
Scott Derrickson will be
Doctor Strange Love.
Oh, and he sticks the landing.
Okay, we're done.
Okay.
Sorry for trying here.
So of course, number one, that means Doctor Strange is going to come back. And two,
spoilers.
How do we feel about a Doctor Strange sequel?
I really like Doctor Strange. I'm curious to see what they do with the sequel.
Yeah,
I'm fairly happy with it. I mean, it was good. I mean, I'd put it in like the top 50% of the Marvel movies that I've seen at least, and I mean that's saying something considering like I don't have any. There are really no Marvel movies, except for one, Dark World, that I don't really like. So.
That's my Iron Man 3. I hate Iron Man 3. But, yeah, I'm excited. Like, we had that nice little heel turn from Baron Mordo at the end of the first Doctor Strange, so got a ready-made villain.
Yep. Yeah, I can't wait. I loved the movie. I liked the concept of how they handled it too, where, how they did the origin story where it's this guy who's on top of the world. He's a, best surgeon in the world. And he believes he knows everything he needs to know and he's successful, and, it all gets taken away from him. And then he gets presented with something that a logical, intelligent person is like, no, this is impossible. And just the way he handles it, like, Cumberbatch is a great actor too.
Sounds like most of the development projects and developers that I know.
I was about to say it sounds like Iron Man when you did the way you just described it.
But it is a juxtaposition to Iron Man where Iron Man is still very grounded.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he creates armor that can fly around and shoot laser bolts, but it's still not magic. So yeah, I can't wait. Yeah. What would I didn't read the article. Did they have any
It's not
kind
much.
of
No, not really.
no
No.
dates or anything? Okay.
2021 May.
Oh, okay.
So we got a while.
Yeah, we got a little while.
So what does it make it, like Phase 4 or Phase? I mean, that.
Yeah. So there's the movie coming out. I think it's called Endgame, which that officially ends Phase 3, and technically, Spider-Man: Homecoming or Far From Home is the kickoff of Phase 4, but they've kind of said they're not really calling them phases anymore. So yeah.
I guess you don't have to when it's been firmly established by now that it's a thing.
So, so speaking of Endgame, is that what it was called?
Endgame.
We got the out of the blue on Friday morning.
Not out of the blue. Everybody knew it was coming. There were so many rumors.
I know, but it was just so strange. Kind of Doctor Strange. Because there's no real like movie it was attached to. There was no event it was attached to. It's just like, oh, here's the Endgame trailer.
It doesn't need to attach to a movie. It's bigger than everything. Like,
yeah.
What does this have? This has 65 million views in less than a week.
It had like over 10 million views by like lunchtime.
Crazy.
I think. See, I would have released it the same day as Aquaman to steal Aquaman's thunder, but that's just me.
Aquaman has no thunder. Let's be real.
Because you can't do it underwater; it would electrocute you.
Whoa! Corny, but I like it.
Yeah, sorry. Besides, thunder is on Black Lightning, so.
Oh God. Oh. So let's just say, what did you guys think?
I like the fact that we learned one thing about the direction of this movie, and everybody lost their mind. Are they great at building up are they great about building up anticipation, showing you nothing, and everybody's going, like they're amazing at it.
Which is good. It's nice to see a trailer that gives you kind of the direction of the movie, enough to get you really excited about it, but not enough to tell you exactly what like you get trailers these days where you actually see the ending scenes, and
true. This
didn't have that, which is nice. I like the way they're handling them.
All right. So, did you watch any of the? I agree. On the surface, we didn't learn anything. But did any of you guys watch any of the breakdown videos or read any of the articles where they talked about all the possible hints in the movie? I
don't like doing that. I hate having expectations put in my head that might be real and might not. Like, the only things we did learn are, like, Hawkeye is Ronin in this one. Like, Clint Barton is adopting the Ronin identity. And somehow Scott Lang got out of the quantum realm.
Yeah.
Right. So, okay, so not to say a lot about the Ronin, in the Ultimate Universe, he adopts the Ronin persona after his family dies. So there are people speculating that maybe his family got wiped out in the snap.
Oh, that's not a speculation. There's no way he would be like sitting there wiping blood off a katana if he hadn't been that his family were still alive.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonably safe assumption.
Yeah. I mean, there are things we can speculate on, and there are things that even bad sci-fi writing couldn't come up with, and there's no other way for that to have happened unless his family got dusted.
Okay. So
unfortunately.
So let's just talk about the trailer itself real quick before I go into any more of the other stuff that I've seen and I kind of was like, again, they also are masters of putting trailers together because they start off with Tony leaving a message for Pepper, total desperation, like he's saying he ran out of food, he's run out of water, he's going to run out of air tomorrow. There are no
obvious MacGuffins around to get him out of it.
Right. He's trapped on the Guardian ship adrift in space. And so he's recording this message for Pepper. And then we flash to Earth, and we have Cap and Natasha talking about some kind of a plan to save the world. And, like, I don't know how you guys felt, but when Chris Evans delivers that line where he's like, this has to work, because if it doesn't, I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I started to tear up, because it was just like, I thought it was delivered perfectly. It's just the desperation in his voice, you know?
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
I mean, they by now, they are so into their characters because they've played them in so many movies that they do a very good job of adopting basically all of the emotion that those characters would be having at this point. Right. And you can understand why Captain America would be feeling that way.
So they set up the desperation. They give you the gut punch with that line. They give you your title screen, and then they lift you right back up with Scott Lang showing up at the Avengers headquarters like, "Hey, it's Ant-Man. Buzz me in.
Remember me? Hi." I like that they're keeping his character light too, you know. But it's all. I mean, I think those two scenes were taken out of out of order. So you know, it's Scott Lang showing up, and they must have come up with a plan from that, and then that's when Captain America would say, I don't know what I'll do if this plan doesn't work, because obviously there's no plan without Scott Lang.
But yeah, there's a very, very good possibility that's what it was, but they did it in the way, I feel, to deliver that emotional journey in a little, 2-minute preview. So, all right. So the couple little things that were pointed out. So number one, if you notice when he's recording when Tony's recording the message with the helmet, only one of the eyes light up. Someone pointed out that it's possibly a close-up of that eye was the picture that the Russo brothers released on Twitter when they said wrapped. Because remember, it was like a blue light, and everyone's like, what the heck is that?
Sure, okay.
Yeah, I know.
There's so many of those things that were put out,
So, there was that. It's like, okay, whatever. I don't know if you guys picked up on this, but it's Nebula and Tony on the ship.
I did not pick up on that.
Yeah, if you notice,
yep.
Nebula's when they just show her walking around, you just kind of see her back, and she's but she's definitely on the Guardian ship, and of course we had the Thanos Scarecrow, which was from the comics. He puts his armor up as a scarecrow and retires as a farmer from the original Infinity Gauntlet comic.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a nice nod, I thought. Some people are speculating that the scene with Tony might not actually be in the movie.
They shot it specifically for the trailer?
They shot it specifically for the trailer, that the message might be in the movie, but not that scene. And I was like, that's kind of an interesting twist.
It is, but my question would be, how do they know?
Well, yeah, that's the question. But then it was also brought up because of what he says in that message. He says, and if you notice that the word is emphasized, he says there's no hope of rescue. And rescue was the name of one in the comics when Pepper Potts wore the armor. They called her Rescue. So, and there have been, shots of her in armor, from the set. So that's stretching. I'll give you that. So the only thing that really came out of that trailer that made me go, when this was pointed out, and you'll have to go back and watch this because this is important. What Steve goes, is this an old message when he sees Ant-Man on the screen, and Natasha says that's the front door, right? Which leads you to automatically go, oh, so this is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
Look closely at the video that he's watching. It says archive at the top. So, is it he traveled back in time and went to there before anyone showed up, and they came across that?
He's driving the same van. I'm looking at that right now. He's got the same van that the Pims had in the end of Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Okay.
So it has to be post his comeback to Earth.
Okay.
You know?
All right. But it does say archive on the video, so that's...
It does. And like, that's when we don't know the timeline of what's going on and when.
Right.
You know? Hard to know. It's so crazy. They release a 2-minute trailer that doesn't tell you anything, and people are scouring over the thing like it's a Zapruder film.
Oh, of course.
There is one thing that it did tell us, and it's the name of that movie, Endgame, because they said that the name of the movie had been said during Infinity War a couple of times.
Yeah, Strange says it,
or had been shown, or whatever.
Well, initially they said they didn't want to release the name of 4 because they thought it was going to be too much of a hit of 3. But I'm like, I don't know. That doesn't, to me, that wouldn't have given away anything that happened.
Not a thing. And I was actually like kind of disappointed when it came out, because that was when everybody was speculating. Because you know, Strange says we're in the end game, and I'm like, that can't be it. That's not even a good title. Like,
I know. Hey, my money was on "We Will Deep Fry Your Kebab," which was also in the movie. So, which would be a really interesting title, right? Avengers, We Will Deep Fry Your Kebab.
Now I have to change the name of my new restaurant. Damn it.
God. No, sorry guys.
So, I mean, okay. Well,
okay.
I don't mind Endgame. What did you want it to be, JD?
I don't know. Not something that was so easily guessed, I guess. I don't know. Endgame, it's fine, I guess, but it's just, this is what happens when you let people speculate for too long, is your imagination kind of runs wild, and then you get an answer and you're kind of like, oh, okay.
That's why I thought it was going to be Infinity Gauntlet, right? Because,
yeah, or something like, yeah, that'd have been all right. I mean, yeah, I could go with that.
Because that was the name of the actual, storyline in the comics, and the story begins with Thanos had already used the gauntlet, and they're trying to figure out how to reverse it. So it's like, well, duh, that's the perfect name, and it does give away what happened in Infinity War. But yeah, I don't know.
Because I don't believe that they're going to end the Avengers movies after this.
No, that is the current rumor.
I mean, I just know.
End them?
But yeah, that's why it's because the end of the Avengers is coming. I mean, like, come on, man. Like, this is Hollywood. It ends when the box office goes down.
If they're like making sequels because, like, for the Transformers, because they're making just enough to, or making a little bit more than just enough over their budget. I mean, think of how much money the Avengers is making. I mean, this movie's going to break records.
All of it.
Yeah, I mean, literally all of it. There's no way they can't make another one.
Supposedly, the Russo brothers have said they don't want to do another one unless...
Go ahead.
It's Secret Wars.
Which would be a great way to bring the X-Men in.
Yes.
And the Fantastic Four.
And Deadpool.
You have to at that point.
I know.
Deadpool's probably the way you make that movie make sense, to be quite honest with you.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, and speaking of Deadpool, yeah, I'm trying to do a segue here.
Trying to figure out what you're segueing to, looking at the show notes. Oh, yeah, there we go.
Yes, did you guys see the new ad for Once Upon a Deadpool?
I have not, actually. I just catching this for the first time. I missed this in the show notes today. I almost don't want to now.
I have seen it. It is glorious.
Yes, it is the best. Deadpool gets it. So if you remember in the original trailer, Fred Savage says, "Well, you're Marvel, but you're Marvel's licensed through Fox."
Yeah.
Which is like the Beatles produced by Nickelback. It's music, but it sucks.
Such a great line.
So that's where this ad picks up, and Deadpool's like, "Oh, you were so much nicer as a kid," and Fred Savage is like, "Well, I'm sorry." He's like, "No, I can't take all of this Nickelback hate," and then he starts listing all of like their gold records, the awards that they've won, you know, like how many records they've sold. He's like, you know, "I'm gonna beat your hate with facts." And then
I don't care about your facts. This is a fact-free zone. This is.
So after he lists all these, Fred Savage has his head down and he goes, "Couldn't make it as a blind man." Which Deadpool answers with, what is it? Sense of feeling. And then they start singing the song and the drums come in. It was like, and then they're head banging and the song's going in the background. So yeah, like, it's pure Deadpool magic. That's all I can say.
I mean, if we don't make fun of Nickelback, who are we going to pick on? Linkin Park?
We can still make fun of Nickelback. I don't care.
Okay, so number one, I'm sure there's a big reason that he defends Nickelback is because they're Canadian. But two,
that's true.
I agree with Deadpool. I don't get the Nickelback hate. Like, they
we've
still
talked
sell
about that before.
They still sell millions of records. It's just cool to hate on Nickelback. Like, it's just like, you know, there's obviously
McDonald's sells millions upon millions of cheeseburgers. Are they good?
I like them.
But I mean, would you rather have McDonald's or would you rather go have a real cheeseburger?
There are 7 Transformers movies. Are they good?
Are any of them good? A lot of people went and saw Man of Steel.
Yeah, was it good?
I like Nickelback. I'm sorry.
You did me. Go ahead. Really? Really?
Well, speaking of things that are dead and people, so Charlie Cox was recently speaking on the cancellation of Deadpool.
Daredevil.
I'm sure it's about Deadpool. Yeah.
Darepool. Now you just gave Marvel a new idea. That comic's coming out soon.
That and Dead Devil.
Both are genius, to be quite honest with you.
So he said, a lot of us really expect it to keep going, and I certainly did. The truth is, I felt like we had a lot of stories to tell, and although I understand the cancellation, I'm very saddened by this, and it's just how business works. But also, these characters mean a lot to people. It's weird to think that there's a chance I won't be playing Matt Murdock ever again. That's a bizarre feeling because the character has been such a huge part of my life for the last 4.5 years.
Well, you know what? We need to start a campaign to save that show. I mean, if we get enough people to get on and sign a petition, maybe they can even get Netflix to pick it. Oh, right.
Well,
crap.
Stuck the landing. That was good.
Stuck the landing. Actually, going on one real quick is this article came out. There was data that came out that suggests Netflix or showed that as of December 1st, Daredevil was the number 4 streamed show from Netflix.
See, I think it was Marvel that took the license away.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying.
They said it on our own tweet.
Charlie Cox was blindsided. Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, so it's just like
they optioned it out. They probably had something in the contract that said, look, if we get our streaming service up, or we can take it at any time after such and such a point. I mean, I keep hearing that it's Netflix. Well, I keep hearing that it was like a money thing, that Netflix wanted to produce something that they weren't getting money out of. But, number 4 show, that's like a loss leader.
That's spin, man. That's Marvel trying to put it on Netflix. Netflix clearly wants the show, but it's like I said, the contracts are expiring. I mean, like, the real question is where do these properties stand on Feige Island?
Right. That is the question, because are they stuck in the TV world? So then do you hope they get life, like we said before, on Hulu or the Disney app, or God forbid on ABC, or
well, it's not going to go to ABC.
Or do you fold these characters now into the greater cinematic universe?
I don't know. Like, it really, this is what I think is interesting about this, is like, we don't know what Marvel's internal politics are like because like the Feige folks have made no branch whatsoever to connect those shows to their universe. And it's just, I literally don't know.
Well, guess we'll find out. I mean, definitely not going to. Can you imagine Deadpool? Can you imagine Daredevil on ABC?
Yeah.
I mean, have you've seen like those rated R movies that were cut up for being able to be shown on network TV, right? Can you imagine what they would have to do to Daredevil to bring it to a major network like that? It wouldn't be worth watching.
It's like, I remember when Constantine's on Indies, and it was a good show, but just like, in that audience, network TV, it wasn't a good fit, and that's what it would be. See, you wouldn't really get Daredevil. You get like TGI Daredevil.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, I mean, like, speaking of Constantine, a couple of episodes back on one of the CW shows, they were for Legends. They had a very short intro with part of the new Constantine animated movie in it. But if you go and watch the actual animated movie, which I got, which is very good, by the way, City of Demons, they cut up that scene so much, because with regular Constantine, it's just like Deadpool. You really can't show much of any of it on regular TV.
Right. But again, is Once Upon a Deadpool a way to show how you can do stuff like that for regular TV?
No, I think it's a way to show that, if you put Deadpool's face, you can sell the same movie almost completely the same right over again.
It does make me wonder, though, if that's Fox's way of saying, look, this is a viable property in the PG-13 world.
Right. But it's not. It really isn't. I mean,
we don't know that yet. We'll poop on it after we know that doesn't work.
I mean, yeah, right. When we know it doesn't work, not when.
I mean, like this whole. That's the crazy part about this right now. This Marvel universe is in such a strange flux that we don't know what's going on, like internal conversations and what stays and what goes. And Kevin Feige's in there playing the role of King Solomon, deciding which babies are getting cut in half. It's crazy.
Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Interesting analogy.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. I mean,
Solomon Feige.
That's a great name, actually. Let's write that down. Solomon Feige.
And the great baby butt. And the great baby...
The great baby butt?
The great baby cutter, I was going to say, but the great baby butt.
The great baby butt.
Sounds like a new DC, was it DC villain? Solomon Grundy's cousin, Solomon Feige.
Who was the movie producer?
With a great baby butt.
Wow. We're punchy.
Yeah, we're a little punchy. Speaking of punchy, John Cena's raring to take over for Captain America, apparently.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yes, and probably the last two. I don't know, man. I mean, Cena's cool and all, but.
So he was currently on the Ellen DeGeneres show, and she asked him about this rumor of him taking over, and his response was For real? Who started this rumor?
Oh, I did, right now.
Apparently JD started this rumor.
Oh, yes, like credit where credit is due. I started that rumor. That was all me.
He said,
Or
yeah,
probably
I
not.
might have started it. I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it was our artwork from that show, from that episode. But if it's out there, if the Captain America people are listening, and you're out there watching right now, I'll totally do it. I totally will.
Sue them for residuals? Or no?
Remember when you guys are from the 80s? Do you remember when Sean Young went on, I forget what show it was, dressed as a Catwoman and was like trying to like campaign?
Yeah, I remember that.
It's kind of similar, huh?
That was weird.
She's weird.
Yeah, well. But
but I mean, it's so true though. Like, that's happened a lot of times where people are like, this would be the perfect person to play this role. The person starts to campaign for it a little bit, and all of a sudden, boom, they've got the role, you know?
And that's, I remember Donald Glover back in like 2010 had the thing where why can't Spider-Man be a black guy? And that Brian Bendis has kind of said this was the path he was going down, and the hubbub kind of led him to help to create the Miles Morales character who's about to take over the planet. So, I mean, you never know.
Yeah, you don't know. Though I do think it's interesting, like this is going on, and apparently Joe Russo said in an interview not that long ago that Chris Evans isn't done with the role of Captain America just yet. Like, what that means exactly, I don't know, because you know how those guys are. They get cagey with stuff. But he kind of made it sound like, there's still ideas out there for Cap, and Chris is still interested in playing it. So we'll see. Maybe the two of them will have a mud wrestling match, and the winner gets to play Captain America.
Why has it got to be in the mud?
It's because Speedos, mud. It's for the girls. It's for the women.
Come on.
And for John.
No, hard pass. Sorry.
And our last piece of Marvel news, which is really just for me, because I know neither of you guys play video games, but it has been announced officially that there is going to be Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 coming to the Nintendo Switch next year. I've played the other Marvel Ultimate makes it. It's been a since there has been one of these games. So I'm kind of curious to see how it updates. And I know you guys don't have an opinion on this, but if you're listening and you are a fan of the first two, let us know what you think and what you want to see in an Ultimate Alliance 3. So, like, what storyline, what characters, do you want to see an updated interface? Just, let me know. All right. So, moving on across the aisle. DC, there isn't a lot of DC news. Jason Momoa made in an interview, I believe, while he was promoting his movie next week, right? Yeah. Or is this week?
What, Jason Momoa?
Yeah.
I think next week.
Okay. They asked him about the possibility of Ben Affleck and Kevin Lee. And here's what he had to say. If they're both out, then listen, it's just the place they're at in their careers, he said. I mean, how many has Henry done? He's done 3. Yeah, I mean, like, you want to move on. I think if I did, I have done 3. I mean, Henry wants to just expand on something. Ben is an amazing director that is of age and probably has done enough. I don't know how to speak on behalf of them, but I had the time of my life on Justice League. So
that's like, a mess. First of all,
yeah, and that, I'm not messing it up. Like, that is like what he said.
It's incomprehensible.
And he didn't say like, "Oh no, that's not true," and he didn't say like I don't know. He just basically said, "Well, if that's what they want to do, that's what they want to do." Well, it really sounds like he doesn't know what's going on.
There's a whole lot of words to say absolutely nothing.
Exactly. It doesn't sound like anyone knows what's really going on with Cavill and Affleck, like if they're leaving or not.
Because I don't think they know. I think that's the thing. I don't think anybody knows. Like, it's so up in the air.
You think it's a DC thing?
I think it's
they have no idea what.
Yes, I think that's the whole thing. I don't think anybody has any idea what's going on, including the people running the ship.
Do you think the actors know what they're going to do?
No. I imagine they have ideas of what they're going to do, but money talks.
Well, that's true. That's very true. And I kind of look. As a total outsider and only looking at the few news articles I've seen, Henry Cavill, I don't know. I do kind of feel like he feels like he's been pushed aside, with not getting a sequel. He kicked off this incarnation with Man of Steel. Whether you like the movie or not is a whole other story.
Well, that's the thing, is his whole tenure has been kind of mishandled.
Oh, right. Big time.
And then, so I could see getting frustrated with it at this point. I've got to sit around and wait. And then when I go to do other projects, apparently I mess everything up. Yeah. And with Ben Affleck, it kind of really feels like he had a specific vision he wanted for Batman, and Warner Brothers was like, no, you can't do it. I mean, he even co-wrote a script with, what's his name from DC?
Jeff Johns.
Jeff Johns. Like, I have to imagine that's an amazing Batman script. So why won't they let him make that movie? So
because it wasn't written by the executives. I mean,
it doesn't have enough toys in it for them to sell.
But there's plenty, and that's the thing. I mean, that's a very 90s argument, I think. I mean, you can sell whatever you want, slap the logo on it, it's going to sell. Like, yeah. I mean, we don't know. We don't know what's in that script. Maybe it is a good script. Maybe it's not. Like I said, I think that Jeff Johns gets a lot of praise from the comic community, but at the same time, his fingerprints are all over the Green Lantern movie that was not good. So, I mean, like, I think it's presumptuous just to assume that it was a great script. I mean, we don't know that. Maybe it was. Maybe it was terrible. Maybe, who knows,
But Ben Affleck has won 2 Academy Awards, and one was for writing. Like,
Gus Van Sant wrote that movie.
Having a problem there, JD?
Look, I put this, nobody writes a script. Nobody gets an Oscar for writing a script and never writes another script again. Or never write one for 20 years.
I'll say he did write another one. They won't let him make it.
Yeah, I said I'm not willing to just sit there and say that there's a gold project there that they're just missing the boat on. Like, there's something else with that. And granted, this company does not have a great track record when it comes to these things, but the whole thing has been handled so poorly from Jump Street.
Wait, he's in 21 Jump Street?
No.
They're remaking that again too.
Isn't John Cena in that?
Oh God!
No, they're making a female-driven 21 Jump Street remake.
Because right, of course they are.
But wasn't John Cena in the other ones? That's what I'm saying.
No. The guy that looks like him, the guy from Magic Mike, whose name I can't think of.
Oh, yeah. I can't think of it either. Darn it. Yeah, I thought it was all related. Yeah.
I mean, I think the whole thing really suffers from the lack of a runner, from the lack of a singular creative vision. And that's the problem.
Or they tried to give it a singular creative vision, and that. Sorry, I'm
right.
Sorry. I'm sorry he had personal issues in his family life, but yeah, it sucked.
Yeah, both of his movies sucked. Like Zack Snyder, like Man of Steel is bad. Batman v Superman is horrible.
And the parts that he touched on Wonder Woman were the
stuff
that wasn't good.
Yes, Act 3, Wonder Woman, not good. Like, yeah, man, Zack Snyder's not, like, it was a troublesome spot when they announced that he was going to be the guy from Man of Steel. Because the trailers looked awesome, which is what he does, cuts a phenomenal trailer, and then you got, Superman killing people, and Jonathan Kent telling him to let them die. It's just...
And the Zimmer, score.
He never misses a chance to bury Hans Zimmer.
No, he doesn't. No, his hatred for Zimmer is deep.
Man, he just needs a lot of shade. That's all I'm saying.
You provide.
I am like the giving tree of shade for that man.
So
that's very poetic, actually, because trees give shade.
So DC's a mess. We've talked about them messing up their main characters, and some people are like, they shouldn't bother with these secondary characters before they get the main characters right. And there's also the argument, well, maybe they just need to stay away from them for a while. And on that note, they have announced their next character that's getting a movie is Plastic Man.
Okay.
Yeah, I got
nothing. They've lost it. That's no. Just seriously, no.
Okay, I'm gonna play devil's advocate because someone has to.
But Plastic Man, come on.
Raccoon is a very simple.
But he's a team.
I agree. I said it's good.
Did you watch a solo Rocket Raccoon movie?
Yeah, probably. That's why I think I would.
Yeah.
Rocket movie, I would watch that.
All right.
Oh boy.
I mean, I don't know. Like it could be because it's kind of he's kind of crimey, kind of. So you could have something, silly but fun and.
I mean, look. Okay, so the thought process here is maybe with Shazam they're starting to go into a lighter direction, but is this a complete 180 into that realm, going from super dour, dark, serious, moody, brooding to a joke of a superhero? I mean, I don't know. He just feels like, and again, I've never read a Plastic Man comic, so
you got a point, but like, there's some interesting, like Plastic Man. Joe Kelly did some really cool stuff with Plastic Man, in the early 2000s run on Justice League of America.
Okay.
So there's stuff you can do with the character. My question is he a strong enough character to handle his own film? And that's where I don't have the answer for. I think he could work really well playing off of a situation, like as a supporting character. But I don't know if it can be the focus. That's my issue with it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just, it's look at the Flash, right? They got Ralph Dibny on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they've done a fairly good job of creating a likable character, but he's still, and he actually with that actor, they could probably make a standalone movie, but it's hard. And you've already got Ralph Dibny. You've got not Plastic Man. He's elongated man. So, it's, I don't know.
That's the whole thing.
If it were Marvel, yeah, but.
It almost felt like when I heard the news, it was like, well, people seem to like Elongated Man on Flash, so let's now do a Plastic Man movie. And I'm like, but they made Elongated Man work within the Arrowverse on Flash. Like, they molded the character to work within that story.
And the Elongated Man's a different kind of character than Plastic Man, too, despite the fact of having remarkably similar powers. Ralph Dibny's a detective. Like, so right. It's a completely different kind of character, where Plastic Man is pure slapstick.
Right.
So, I mean, like, they have similar powers, but so is Mr. Fantastic, and no one's going to confuse Reed Richards for either of those two characters. So, I don't know, man, it's a tough one. Like, but again, it's development. A movie's in development. Most movies that go in development never come out. So.
True.
It could be nothing. Someone's getting paid to write a script.
Well, at least a writer's getting paid, right? That's
true.
Thing. Yeah, I guess that's the whole point of it, somehow.
Well, John, maybe you should write the script.
I'm telling you right now, if I wrote the script, it would probably be good. I mean, I could write a good script for it, but that's only because I'm OCD and I like coming up with, coherent storylines. The way that they do it, that they won't have any of the real writers in there working on it.
Well, you do, but I mean, the problem is like so many of those, like it's all about notes. They'll get the note like, hey, we have to have this, this, and this. And someone will write it and they'll hand it to the writers. Okay, we like this, but lose this, this, and this. And so you get like, and this is Hollywood in general. You get these hodgepodge scripts written by 8 different teams, and who knows who wrote what by the time it's finally filmed.
Yeah.
You know, and if I wrote this Plastic Man script, it would be purely for the money.
That's like the Superman Live script had a giant mechanical spider in it because
John Peters wanted a giant mechanical spider.
Yes.
Which he did finally get in Wild Wild West.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know. Oh man, Plastic Man. I don't see it. Warner Brothers. Good luck with that. I don't.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I don't even know if I could go to the theater to watch that.
I need a really good trailer. I need some dynamite casting in a really good trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what was a really good trailer? Did you guys watch the teaser trailer for Umbrella Academy?
I did. Dave, your transitions are getting so good. Like,
but when you pointed out,
chef kiss. That was beautiful. That was not set up. That was just on the moment. Kudos, sir. But no, it's a fantastic trailer, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I did not see it. What is it about? Is that one that's kind of like what is it, that Japanese one with the classroom that kills? Or okay,
I get it is kind of similar to that. It's Gerard Way from My Chemical Romance. This was he worked on with Grant Morrison on DL. Not many people talk about it.
Right.
Okay.
It's kind of like genetic engineered children.
It's very X-Men-y,
yeah,
but not really. Kind of.
And that was the movie I was referring to, but.
And of course, the trailer feels very early 90s.
I think intentionally. I think that's the vibe they're going for.
Yeah,
and it works.
It's kind of the vibe. It's kind of what you would have to do for that kind of movie.
Yeah. No, I mean, it works. The trailer worked anyway. Like, I'm definitely going to check this out. It's coming out next year. It looks really good. I don't know anything about any of the actors that are in it currently.
Ellen Page was in. She was Kitty Pryde in the X-Men movies.
Oh, okay, that's right.
She's done a lot of stuff. Yeah.
So there you go. It looks really good. If you should watch the trailer, John, and anyone listening who haven't checked it out, yeah, go check it out. In fact, I'll put a link in the description of the episode. Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about it. I haven't read the books. I'm aware of them. Have you read them, Gene?
No, I haven't. I remember when it was coming out though. I've never read it. I know about it tangentially, just from reading about it. And quite honestly, I've never really had the urge to go pick it up until I saw this trailer.
Yeah. Basically, it's funny. I did have a conversation with a coworker today about it, and I was like, wow, it looks really good. And he turned to me and he said, I guess you have to keep your Netflix subscription then.
Fun. It is funny. They launched that a week after the news about Daredevil comes out.
Yeah. Well, I do honestly think, they're not going to say it, but I'm sure they're afraid of people canceling now because of this, because I've been totally upfront about this over and over again. I specifically got Netflix because of Daredevil, and then all the other Marvel shows. And there's a few things I watch on there, but I could live without them, but we'll see. This might be my new thing. John, you're being quiet.
I'm daydreaming about Battle Royale. No, it's, I don't know. I have no idea about it, left or right.
Or right of center?
Or right of center, yes.
Or down.
Or up and down. But if you're going up and down, then you need to stick the landing.
Show theme.
We will deep fry your kebab. Okay. That's what... I'm staying with that.
On On the whole, slow news week. Like aside from some Marvel speculation stuff.
Seriously.
Well, and the release of the trailer.
True.
Well, trailers. They also had this week. I mean, this whole week they also had the Captain Marvel trailer, right? Another Captain Marvel.
We covered that. We covered that last week.
Yeah, we talked about that last week.
I thought there was. What?
Where were you?
No,
we
there was
we were watching the trailer.
Oh yeah, we watched it on there, right? There was another trailer that came out this week. Oh, it must have been the Godzilla one that I'm thinking about.
The Godzilla one did come out this week. That did look pretty fun too.
Yeah, they finally showed King Ghidorah, which is pretty cool.
Is that how you pronounce that? I've wanted that since I was 9.
I wouldn't learn pronunciations from John.
No. This is one of my areas of expertise. Besides anime, this is one of the things I actually grew up with, was watching every single Toei or I forget the name of the place. Every Godzilla movie, every Gamera movie, every giant monster movie that they ever put out. I have them all in my brain. So yeah, it's King Ghidorah, or the alternate pronunciation is King Ghidra.
So John, what's it called when there's a bunch of stories that are connected together in one big long story, and there's tangential stories that tie into it? What do you call that? That's all begins with a C. What's the word?
Capes? No, is that what you're going for? I don't know.
I believe the term that Dave's looking for is continuity, which he often pronounces continuity.
Yes. Well, that's different. That's English.
Oh my God.
Japanese, I got that down. English, ooh, that's tough.
If it's, Latin, Japanese, even German, sure. But English, well, you know.
Oh wow. Yeah, so I think that's where we're going to put a pin in it. That's where we're going to stick the landing.
You mean a peen, right?
Oh God. And on that note, boys and girls, don't forget, always check us out on superheroespeak.com. There are going to be more updates on a regular basis coming on there. And again, if you're interested in volunteering a little bit of time to help write some stuff for the website, inbox us on either at superheroespeak on Twitter or facebook.com/superheroespeak, or email me at dave@superheroespeak.com. And don't forget to check the website out, superheroespeak.com. And don't forget to subscribe to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found. So on that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for listening, and don't let your cape get caught in the door. Have a good week.